everybody, it's Dick here. Today I'm on Fanny's Uncle Pat's 1988 Yamaha XV1100 Virago, the predecessor to the Yamaha Dragstar 1100 or V-Star 1100 depending on which market you were in, was produced between 1986 and 1999. Fanny's Uncle Pat is the second owner of this fully spec'd out, fully accessorized Virago 1100, including all of the brass fittings, a high windscreen, gold rims, highway bars. It's got that hanging V-twin and that signature air filter. The Virago is a chopper-ish style large cruiser for the 80s. It has swept back bars, a long rake fork. It's a 1063cc single overhead cam wet sump engine. It's got a digital ignition, which was unique in the 1980s. It has a wet multiplate clutch, 5-speed transmission, and a shaft final drive. It's got 5.9 inches of travel in the front forks and 3.8 inches in the rear. It's got a 4.4 gallon tank, a low 28.1 inch seat height. It's got a 60-inch wheelbase, and I mention that because that's about as long as the Harley Road King. And Vance & Hines' beautifully sounding orchestral exhaust. It's got a 32-degree rake on that front set of forks. It is an ugly duckling of a bike, and I have been wanting to ride this for ages. Let's see if it lives up to my expectations. Thank you very much, sir. All right. Oh, that's a reserve.
Yeah, if you get down, the red light comes on, you've got about 12, 14 miles left. Just push that.
That's pretty nifty.
Yeah.
They don't. You think at 1988 they had that? Yeah. They don't put it on bikes now.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what this thing does. Well, if none of your kids claim this, if you ever sell it, it's mine.
I know.
Yeah, I'm just reminding you. All right, I'll see ya. Well, that's a horn, huh? Keep the RPMs up on it. Woohoo! All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on a 1988 Yamaha Virago 1100. I'm rattling. I gotta check my pockets. This is my Uncle Pat's bike. He's had it since 1997. And it's got 41,381 miles on it. He's got it. He said he got it when it was had about 19,000 miles on it. He's brought it to Mount Washington, all up through New Hampshire, New England, Vermont. He's had this all over the country, down south. These flags are distracting. I find it funny that these American flags are on a Japanese bike, but this thing's all America, baby. It's got these swoopy goat horn or ram horn handlebars. The fork comes right up to your chest. It's got a reserve fuel thing with a switch here. It's got tachometer. There's a red box at 5,500 RPM. I'm looking at this wrench here that he has in this special pocket between the indicator or these dials, and I'm thinking this wrench is gonna fly out, hit me in the face. Looks like it also looks like he has a garage door opener in there. It's very cool, brushed. I don't know if it started brushed, but it looks like it's been cleaned to brushed. Oil light, turn signal, high beams, neutral light. This key barrel here. It's 1100 cc's. He seems to think, I'll have to do some research, but he seems to think it's probably about 70 or 80 horsepower. So 1100 V-twin, shaft driven. Before I got on it, I asked him, whoa. Take it easy, Dick. I'm enthusiastic, but I don't want to crash this puppy. This is his pride and joy. He bought it as is in '97, hasn't done anything to it. Put a new tire on it so I could ride it today. He's been riding it with a ball tire for God knows how long. Shaft driven, never had to do anything with the shaft. I said, have you had to do anything with this bike? He said, I had to put a new tire on it this morning for you. Change the oil, put gas in it. I think he had a leaky seal a while ago. They put a new seal on it, but other than that, 41,000 miles. This thing just, I don't know how many gears it's got. It's got another gear there. I'll have to count them. But there's wind coming from around this kind of parabolic thing. It's a weird, I don't know whether to look over it or under it. But, and it's vibey. My legs are vibey. I don't know if that's just the wind. Yeah, it might be the wind on my trousers. But it's not that it's like, when I say vibey, it's not vibey, it's rumbly. It's rumbly. It's got this cushy seat. It's like a lazy boy. It's right up way up my hips. I'm sitting, it's soft. It's such a cruiser, man. It feels like a chopper. The previous owner, it's only had 2 owners. So the previous owner, the original owner, put Vance and Hines exhaust on it. And you can hear that. It's just miraculous. These Vance and Hines exhausts. But man, he goes on this, he just hops on it, rides it around, gets off it, doesn't think. It has all these brass, gold, everything that you could have gotten in the accessory catalog. I think the original owner put on it. So it's a maroon and gold and chrome. And it's just wild. It's an 80s bike. It's 1988, and the reliability is there and the power is there. But it's a very smooth power lineage. It's very, very smooth power. I'm not too comfortable. Well, I'm getting more comfortable on these sweepers here. But holy cow. Look at that. 75 instantly, 85, 5,000 RPM. Red line is 7,500 RPM. 95 miles an hour. This thing can still go. I don't think you want to, but man, it's just power, 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 power. V-twin. But what a fun bike. He's got these highway pegs. I don't know if you can see it, but my knees, he's got these highway pegs. This just put my, no controls whatsoever, but my knees are way up high next to these, I guess they're air filters. Forward, reasonably forward controls, not that forward. I don't know what you can see, but I'm gonna put my feet up on the highway pegs again. Wow, it's so fun. This is when I talk about character on motorcycles, that's got some character. Oh, we'll go by the truck with my feet up. I got my feet up I'm literally reclining. Look at how high my feet are. They're not that much lower than the indicators, which are mounted very high on this fork, right under the headlamp. This is just all smiles, man. I'm in the market for a Virago now. I've told him if his kids don't claim it, that if he ever sells it, that this bike is mine. Because this is such a fun and quirky bike. Like, the Virago is a weird thing, man. looks choppery, it looks cruiser. I gotta put my feet down for this curve, okay. Get back into a reasonable, my feet are still forward, but get back into a reasonable riding position. Christ. Oh, that's engine braking, baby. Yeah. 1988. He said I gotta keep the revs up. I'm rolling back. Oops. Don't stop me there. He said I have to keep the revs up, so I think the carburetors are probably need a bit of a tune. So he says he hasn't done anything to it. I believe it, because at idle it just cuts off. So I was just stuck in the middle of the road. But so I got to remember to keep the idle up with the throttle. It might just open up, get the screw and open up the idle. I'm gonna see if I can find some funny roads. Keep the idle up. Keep the idle up. Don't stall. I feel like I'm riding one of my old 80s bikes. You always gotta keep it rich. Get that gas in that engine. As long as the gas is in the engine, this thing will run. And any of my old Yamahas will do the same thing. As long as you keep the gas flowing to the engine. Even if the carb doesn't do it for you. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about it. If you can find one, buy one. There's a lot of people cafeing these things out now. They're doing some interesting modifications. The shaft drive, the V-twin. It's got all the elements of something cool, even if on its face it's not the coolest looking thing. It's very much it's ugly. I'm trying to find some way witty or eloquent to say that it was ugly, but it's the face a mother can love. But now that I'm on it, you don't have to look at it when you're riding it. You don't have to look at it when you're riding it, and it is really quite fun. I'm kind of in a ball. I'm kind of like scrunching a ball. I'm gonna put my feet up on those highway pegs again. These are ridiculous. I'm looking for maybe he keeps the television remote in there. Man, this is neat. This bike is all character. It's all character. I gotta let Old Glory fly there. He went to this from a 4-cylinder Maxim, which is also a pretty good characterful Yamaha. I always wondered why he's had this bike longer than longer than I've been riding. And I've had a few bikes, and I always get another bike, and I'm always like telling him about the new bikes. And I've always wondered why he has an upgrade. He's looked at the FJ13, whatever the tourer, the kind of sporty tourer for Yamaha is. He's always kind of had an eye on that. But he's never made the plunge. He's never changed to a new bike. He's always just kept this as his only bike. And for a long time, or actually up until this moment, it's raining. God damn it. Up until this moment, I've always wondered why he hasn't changed out the bike. But I think it's probably the same reason why I don't mod the FZ6. He gets on it, he rides, he enjoys the ride, and then he comes home. And he can look at all the bikes online or in the magazines or whatever, but then when he wants to go for a ride, he just hops on this puppy, and it just reminds him that this is all he could ever want or need. And it brings him wherever he wants to go. And that's cool. That's cool. This windshield is doing wonders for the rain. I have to remind myself that it's raining. Obviously, 1988 did not have rider modes, ABS, traction control, or any of that shit. So you gotta think ahead when you're, where's the brakes? I had to come down. Like an engine brake. V-twin, baby. Torque. Keep the whatever the they are called up. Keep the RPM up. Am I in first? All right. Let's see how many gears this puppy has. So I'm in first gear. First gear. Second gear. Let me go that way. That looks more interesting. Irelandville. Third gear. Ooh, there's nice torque at third gear. Ooh, I like third gear. We're gonna run that out a bit. Fourth gear. Ooh, baby. Fifth gear. I think 5 is it. Yeah, fifth gear. 5 gears. That's alright. Triumph's still making 5 gear bikes. Ooh, little skid. Locked up that back wheel a little bit. Ooh, there's a turkey. I can't show you. Oh, the idle's getting better now that it's warming up. Nope. It wants to pull though. It wants to pull. Where's the shifter? Yeah, you feel cool on this bike. Whenever I see him riding up, he's got this look on his face like he's the coolest guy in town or the coolest kid in school. And I see why. You kind of feel easy rider on this. This tank kind of comes up on this really weird angle. The frame and the head tube are up. I think this would be cool with some roadster bars, a little lean forward. Yeah, I'm in the market for a Virago. This is cool, cool, cool. Though it's not the Henry Fonda Easy Rider, it's the Dennis Hopper Easy Rider, which I didn't think was as cool. Dennis Hopper looked kind of like a toady riding on his bike. A sidekick. He was very much a sidekick to Henry Fonda. But who cares? This thing's neat. There's definitely a rake on that. Let's see. Ooh, dual discs on the front. Yeah. Gold rims. I think there might be a drum brake on the back. That sound is awesome. I forgot my earplugs, so I'm gonna have some hearing loss after this ride. A little backfire, a little pop. Virago 1100, 1988 Virago 1100. It reminds me why I love Yamahas. It's even got this bronzy tint to the windscreen. This thing just wants to go. This is very torquey. Very torquey. Lover's Lane. Let's go up to Lover's Lane and neck. I'll take you up on the... Hop on the back of my motorcycle. I'll take you up to Lover's Lane and we'll neck. In these farm communities, there's nothing to do but drinking, but woohoo! Well, thank God I wasn't going fast and there wasn't any oncoming traffic, or Dick is dead. The road sign that I love seeing with the quick squiggly bends. I'm kind of a bit nervous about it on this puppy. I was perfectly happy on the straight lines, but ooh, I gotta come back to Lover's Lane on my FC6. Still a little wet from the storm last night. Temperature just dropped about 12 degrees. Oh shit. It's slick. The turn signal. I have to push up to turn right and pull down to turn left. Oh man, as soon as I relax my fingers off that clutch lever, it's pulled tight. As soon as I relax my fingers, it starts pulling forward. Blah. Well, that's awesome. What a special, special ride. That's cool. I really appreciate being able to ride this bike. I've been It's been in the family for a long time, and I've been watching him come up on it, and I've always kind of wondered, why does he like that so much? Now I know, and I'm right under a rain cloud. Well, that sucks. If you like that video, and you want to see more like them, hit like, share, and subscribe.